Hi everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you from, once again, downtown Manila. What time is it? God, it's 7:15 in the morning. I'm not normally up this early, but here I am because I work throughout the night, guys. Got a wonderful guest today. He's from my home country, Australia, and he's a very, very interesting guy. His name is Michael Clark. Michael Clark is the founder of a company called, oh, my eyes are getting blurry, Athletic Koala. That's an interesting name. Interesting industry. He does NDIS marketing, NDIS websites, company-wide branding. Been in the industry for almost forever. Been 11 years plus. I'm an ex-NDSI provider myself. Now I help NDIS, gotta get that right, providers grow by building websites and guiding them on LinkedIn so they can connect with the right people. And LinkedIn, guys, is a wonderful place to be if you know what you're doing. If you want to know what to do, reach out to Mike, have a virtual cup of coffee. I'm sure he's happy to give you a few tips and a bit of advice, and could double or triple your business overnight with the right connections. It's all about connections. I share fresh marketing ideas and practical consulting to bring in more participants and to strengthen networks on LinkedIn. Key achievements: I've helped connect thousands of NDIS participants with some of the best NDIS businesses. Personal motto. Here we go. My eyes are getting bleary. Everyone needs to be viewed as a subject matter expert. This is because they are already a subject matter expert in something. Let's work out what that is, right? Interesting fact. I take my son out for milkshakes. I take my daughter out to eat nachos. My wife and I love Vietnamese food. There you go. I'm off to Vietnam next week, so there you go. You'll be jealous.
I might be. That's really good. And for people who are international, Jeff, basically I help people who are in disability businesses. In Australia, we call that NDIS, but I also help basically any business whose primary person who's going to call you is the mum. Okay, so I speak in mum, and I make that happen on websites, on LinkedIn, and other ways.
Fair enough. Let me find my question. So it's buried under my early morning cup of coffee. Let's get the show underway. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you, Mike, to pursue your current career all those years ago.
Yeah, well, I used to be a primary school teacher, and if you can handle a bunch of 25 kindergarten kids for 6 hours, mate, you can write a website, you can do LinkedIn, you can do anything. Okay, so started there, went into my own businesses for a few things, and I found that the difference between living a stressful life as a business owner and living an easy life is if your marketing works, life's easy. You can solve any other problem in your business, but if your marketing is broken, you don't have a business. So I learned very quickly that your website needs to be really good. It needs to stand out from the pack. I learned really quickly you need to have a way of capturing the attention of people and then telling them something worthwhile to sustain that attention. And that's where, say, LinkedIn comes in very handy. But anyone who's losing sleep at night over their business, it may be a staff issue, it may be some other issue, but 90% of the time it's going to be a marketing issue, and that's where you solve most dramas.
It's the bottom line. It's a systems issue. But think about it, guys. McDonald's are running billions of dollars enterprise throughout the world with 15-year-old kids. The mother can't get them to clean their bedroom because she hasn't got a system. McDonald's have. So it's all about systems. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work over the years, Mike, and how have you overcome that?
The rate of change is through the roof. Yeah. So everything that we thought was true a year ago is already different.
Yeah, right.
Whereas if you go back 5 or 10 years, your knowledge was current for, say, 3 years. Whereas now it's current for, say, 3 months, 6 months. So there's things that I do on people's websites that I would not have done 6 months ago. There are posts that I teach people to put on LinkedIn. One of the people I work with, she got 50,000 impressions the other day. That's ridiculous. I have not seen anyone do that. Yeah. But it's because she's doing things differently. And by the way, I wouldn't guarantee that result for anyone. Sometimes you just hit the mark.
Yeah,
but the thing is
viral. Yeah, that's the word.
That's right. But the thing is, 3 months ago I wouldn't have recommended that for her, and suddenly, wow. Or 3 months ago I wouldn't be doing websites in a way that are a lot more educational, a lot more sort of get your attention and then teach you something. That, like, a couple of years ago, it was so different. So it's the rate of change that whatever you know now, it's useless in 3 months because everything will change.
That's right. And then you got AI, which sends down all these rabbit holes. And I don't consider it a waste. Some people say it's a waste of half a day. I consider it my education. Same as YouTube guys. The stuff's out there for you to learn. You just got to be prepared to be taught. Simple as that.
Totally. Absolutely. Like every week, Jeff, I will spend between 5 and 7 hours just learning new LinkedIn strategies, new website strategies. And people are like, why would you spend basically a whole workday just learning stuff? It's like, well, I charge the earth. I have to produce amazing results. And you don't get that without spending the time learning. So yeah, all for it.
Anyone watching this podcast, you heard it here first. Jump onto Skool, SKOOL. If you're not on Skool, you're being left behind. It's $1 billion business. At the moment, you can get on there for a 14-day free trial. Then it costs a whole $9 a month. Get on Skool and learn about Skool, and you'll thank me later. And I drink
they
nice
will
wash.
thank you because I use Skool, Jeff.
Yes.
Let's give Skool a real plug here. Is it okay if I give Skool a real plug?
Absolutely.
Okay, so one of the things that I do is I teach executives or directors how to use LinkedIn to be viewed as a subject matter expert, because there's 100 people competing for the same market and you need to stand out as a subject matter expert. So in order to teach them, to train them, I could spend hours training someone, or I could give them an entire course that's on Skool that's largely me doing video of the steps that they need to take. And so yeah, so I'm able to give elite level coaching with just 7 sessions of about 45 minutes, because that same person between those sessions goes and spends about an hour learning things that, to be honest, anyone could teach once you've got the video. So you do the basic stuff on Skool and then you do the real stuff in person. But yeah, Skool, without it, I don't know how I could be as effective as I am.
Skool's bloody awesome. I'm going over there for the simple reason with Facebook, they keep shutting me down. I've got a group of 6,500 people, so I want to get them off of Facebook and get them into Skool where I've got them in my audience. I'm not dictated to by someone like Facebook. In your opinion, what are the key qualities or skills that have helped contribute to your amazing success?
Well, firstly, that question positions me to look arrogant, okay? Because I don't view what I'm doing as successful in terms of the president of the United States. He has an audience of billions, okay? You and I have an audience of thousands or tens of thousands, and we can always go up, okay? So for me, it's like, I think as long as I'm teachable, as long as I have an attitude of I'm willing to learn, as long as I'm not telling others what they should be thinking and I'm asking questions, then we'll always win. As soon as we start to believe our own marketing, we'll lose. So my own website, I evaluated it the other day. I gave it like 7 out of 10 because one, I'm a harsh marker, but 2, I want the world to see that it's okay. Yeah. You know, it's okay to be producing imperfect work for yourself, because minimum viable products says we're always going. But yeah, it's that teachability and that willingness to have a crack.
I tell people I'm the guy. I haven't got a website, guys. I don't need one. I'm the guy with the rusty old Volkswagen and dirty overalls. I turn up at your house and I fix up your Ferrari and make it go quicker. That's what you pay for, right?
That's good. And keep doing it, Jeff. Keep doing it.
I'm so busy working, I haven't got time to fix my own stuff sometimes. But funny you mentioned this, because on my in fact, it's written on your sheet, wherever that is. Where's your sheet? I buried it. Let me look at your sheet down the bottom here. I've got health checks. I'm going to do an article about something like this. You check your car every 6 months. If you're over 50, you have a blood test every year. When's the last time you checked your website? Give your website a health check. Blah, blah, blah.
That's good. Because whatever your website said a year ago is no longer relevant.
Correct. You know.
But would you read a newspaper from a year ago?
Yeah, I might, depending on what the headline said. But I get the point. I get the point. Right. I don't read newspapers. I don't watch TV. I escaped the system when I was 14. You know, I read decent books. You know, that's readers are leaders. Right? But you got to read the right stuff, guys. Garbage in, garbage out. So read the right stuff. Tell us about an important moment in your career that pretty much you were a school teacher before. What changed your direction? What happened?
Well, COVID happened, and just like COVID did you no favors. That's right. Well, COVID, I was teaching as a casual school teacher, a fill-in for sick teachers.
Oh.
Now, if all of a sudden you're online, why do you need anyone to fill in? That's crazy. So I suddenly went, oh, what now? Okay. And so from there, I'm like, well, already had the marketing skills. So I grew a very big disability business very quickly, because when you're good at marketing, you can grow stuff as long as you've got quality. But then from there, I actually ended up wrapping that up because in Australia, the disability sector's changed so much. It's got so much harder. There's competition everywhere. You can't. It's just not fun anymore. So now I work for dozens of companies helping them with their marketing, which is a lot less responsibility, a lot more fun.
Absolutely. Mark is my pet subject. If you went to my house in Greystanes, guys, you'll find over $200,000 worth of books, old old tapes, those packs you used to buy, a dozen of dynamite, and CD-ROMs. You'll find it all there, all on one subject: sales and marketing. Sales and marketing. It's the lifeblood of your business, my friend. Tell me, you're always upbeat. How do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field, Michael?
Well, it's called survival. If you're not upbeat, if you're not motivated, then you better go and become an employee pretty quickly. Okay. Most days I get up and I walk to my office, which is all of about 10 steps from my bedroom. And I get there and in my head, I'm like, oh, I would love to just go to the beach today. But then an hour or two later, once you're into your work, you're like, this is so much fun. And I'm disappointed at the end of the day when I have to stop. And don't know many people who feel disappointed. But what makes it fun for me is that everyone is a subject matter expert in something. So you're a subject matter expert in getting an audience to recognize the value in something else, like when you and I are talking about school. Okay. Sure. I'm an expert in taking someone who doesn't realize they're a subject matter expert, helping them find what makes them shine so that when they go and do posts on LinkedIn or when they go and do their website or when they do a podcast, I do podcasting for people, it's very clear to the whole world what their one area of strength is, because you don't need everyone on the planet to buy from you. You just need a group of people who need the specific thing that you can do to buy from you. And that just means you need to find a way of communicating to them exactly what you do and exactly what they need from you. And often they don't even know what they need from you. So say for podcasts, I do podcasts for people where the audience is needing to be educated. So a lot of that comes from, say, the questions you ask in a podcast. And I'm watching you do it too. You're opening up questions, very open-ended questions. And the questions that you ask, say, on an education podcast or a podcast where you're teaching people about your product so they can buy from you, they're questions that are always positioned to make you come across as humble, but make sure that people know that you know what you're talking about. And so that would be an example of someone being a subject matter expert. You're a podcast guy. At the end of the day, no one knows you as a podcast guy. They know you as a sales and marketing guy, but really you're a subject matter expert in being a podcaster. And so it's motivating to basically show people, hey, here's what you are good at. Here's your platform. Here's how you talk about yourself. Go and make money. And life is a lot easier for people that way.
Yeah. What I love about my podcast, two things. If I feel like going to the beach, guys, I've got fun and I've got freedom. If I feel like going to the beach, I go to the beach. Right? I've got no appointments. I go to the beach. I did on Monday. I went to the local market, spent half a day at the local markets buying prawns and crabs and fresh food, and walked home happy, and then spent the rest of the day cooking. But basically, what I was going to say, I lost the plot again. I'm an old man. But podcasts are so much fun. I've done over 300 of them. And what's great about them, guys? I learned from each and every client. And the best one I got was from a woman about 3 months ago. Be a better human. Let that one sink in, guys. Be a better human. If everybody was a better human, what a great world it would be. I thought that was an awesome quote from her. Be a better human. I was thinking I'm starting a movement about it, actually. I'm just so
go busy. For it. I can see the T-shirts rolling off the line right now.
Well, that was as soon as she said, I said T-shirts. I said T-shirts, mugs, pens. Go over to Africa, drill some holes in the ground, make some water wells for these people. Go around the world helping people. What a movement, you know. And hey, maybe I'll get started one of these days. But I'm having too much fun at the moment. Tell us about a recent project or achievement of your many that you're particularly proud of, Michael.
Well, to be honest, I love helping people when they're in the early stages of their business.
Absolutely. That's the best time.
That's right. A lot of people listening to this are like, but Michael, wouldn't you want to work for someone who's got 100 employees? Not really, because the decision-making process, that's right. They'll have 4 people trying to make every decision instead of just one person going yes or no.
Yeah.
That's right. So I love taking people who are just up and coming stars. They've got the profitability behind them, because usually a 1 or 2 person band, they've got plenty of profitability. Their expenses are low and they're willing to be creative. They've got nothing to lose.
It's not the Titanic. They're like a speedboat. They can move quickly. They can change direction.
Absolutely. So there's a lady who works in the Australian disability sector who she works. Her job is to be sworn at. Basically, she gets sworn at every day by people
Good
who
job.
don't want to talk to her, and she writes reports about it.
Right.
And so, how do you make a website about that? You know what? We got her dog. She loves her dog. Her dog is all over her website. Her website is about the adventures of her and her dog.
Right.
And that's so exciting. It's so much fun because you can't just do a website about getting sworn at.
I love it. I love it. You know what? You know why I love it? One of my favourite sayings is, "The more I meet people, the more I like my dog."
It's great. You should do a website about that then. And
Yeah,
it's not just that. Her LinkedIn posts are all about, her with a dog.
yeah,
It's
that's
on her
right.
LinkedIn banner.
Yeah,
She's
it's a
with a
story.
dog.
It's a story. You got to
It's
tell
a
stories,
story.
guys. Tell stories and start off when you go on the stage, guys. Don't go, "Good morning, guys. I'm Jeffrey Veale." St- They'll be bored shitless. What you do, you start off with, "Once upon a time," and their ears will prick up because they heard that when they were a kid. So you're taking them all the way back. Once upon a time, and then you tell your story. Um, it's exciting stuff. I love talking to you, Michael. I love fellow marketers. What advice would you give a 20-year-old version of you, male or female, if she walks in a room and says, "Oh, Michael, I've just left school. What should I do with myself?" What would you tell them?
I think you need to work out what you're going to build your life on because there's
Yeah.
some things you can't build your life on. You
I still
can't build
haven't
your
worked
life
it. I
on.
still haven't worked it out.
I think most of us are in that boat. But I'll tell you what you can't build your life on. You can't build your life on popularity.
Yeah.
Popularity doesn't pay the bills. You
No,
can't build your life on money. Money doesn't buy
no,
happiness.
correct.
You can't build your life on the idealized relationship because the reality is that people change as they get older, life gets harder,
Yeah,
mortgages happen, kids happen. So you got to work out what are you going to build your life on. So if you're 20, then you've got this myriad of choice. Okay.
absolutely.
And what you want to do at that point is not be making choices that are popular choices or choices your parents told you to make. You want to be making choices that match what your values are because you can't determine
That's
your
right. Yeah,
actions until you know what you stand for.
yeah.
So for that
Follow
20
your
year old,
gut. Follow your gut. You know.
yeah, that's right. For that 20-year-old, work out what do you want your life to be about? Who are you going to serve? Are you going to serve yourself? Are you going to serve money? Are you going to serve your creator? Are you going to serve your parents? Work out who you're going to serve. And when you know who you're going to serve, then the rest will fall into place.
Yeah. I'd say travel broadens the mind. People sadly haven't been out of their own suburb, let alone their own state or country. But I'd say travel, it really broadens your mind. The opportunities that will present themselves are bloody awesome. And I'd say reach out to people like Michael, get a mentor, and you can truly, guys. You're not listening, but you should be. You can save 5 or 10 years off the journey. All you got to do is ask, right? People like us, we've been there, we've done it, and we're happy to share that knowledge with you if you're prepared to listen, right? So reach out to Michael, have a virtual cup of coffee. He knows what he's talking about, and it's all about, he'll tell you, it's all about systems, guys. So develop those systems and get yourself on track. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, Mike? You're only at base camp at the moment. You've got a big mountain to climb.
Mate, we're all at base camp. I see
That's
you're
right.
at base camp too. That's
Yeah, absolutely.
fantastic. It's like life is not about me, Jeff. It's not about you. Life is about who can we serve? How can we serve?
That's right.
So I find myself in the very privileged position of I get to work from home. I get to serve my kids. I get to serve my wife. I get to serve my own fitness by going to the gym or whatever. But it's like, and then I get to serve all these people who are then serving others. So when you think about it, who can we serve? Who can
It's
we
a
help?
passion. What a passion.
That's right. And so here I am. Probably 3/4 of the websites I do in the disability sector. Some
Yes.
of them I do would be, say, in the tutoring sector, but then I also do like websites for people in the music industry. Don't work with musicians. It's hard to get them to. It's like herding cats. But long story short is I get to serve people, and that's a privilege, and I view it that way. And that's the attitude you want to bring into your website. It's not, hi, choose me because I'm good. It's, oh,
Yeah.
people took time to come to my website. What can I teach them while we're here? Same with your LinkedIn. What can I teach them while I'm here? Same with your podcast. What can they learn while they're here? And if we have that attitude, we win. So I'm excited about whatever the future has, but I know it involves serving people because that's what gets results in life.
Yeah, passion. Well, what I love about, I smile about websites, guys. You imagine you talk to a businessman, and what you've got, you don't know his business. He's a chiropractor. And so you've got to get all this information. It's not easy, Michael will tell you. You've got to get this information out of his bloody head onto paper so you can actually complete the website. That's half the battle. That's a real, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It is a challenge. It's what makes it easier is I sit down with them just like I'm sitting down with you.
Yes.
And I literally ask every business owner about 50 questions about how their business works.
Right.
I record that so I can go back to it. And I'm picking up the phrasing, and I say things like,
terminology.
and when that's right. And when someone's talking to you on the phone, what do they ask? And when you understand what their business does, who they serve, and how they serve, well, you win. But most people don't ask. They just go and find a template. They find someone in Kazakhstan to write. They don't even speak English over there. Okay, I don't even know where Kazakhstan is. But you know what I mean? It's like, that's not how you persuade anyone, because you're not helping people. But yeah, that's you and I view the world in a similar way.
I had a very big Pakistani company yesterday who
I said Kazakhstan. Pakistan I will not pay out on. They can produce some good work. But there's a country called Kazakhstan, right, and they reach out to people going, hey, I'll build your website. You're like, are you kidding me?
Well, I have this lady from Pakistan, quite a well-known company, 33 employees, she was telling me. And she was reaching out to me, and she became a client, how to do marketing. And I thought, that's bizarre. But I get it. They need help. So I'm obviously willing to help her. But 33 employees, and the first problem is she's got to feed those people. She's eating feathers. The employees are eating chicken. So we ascertain where she's at. We're gonna peel back the onion, so to speak, and we're gonna make things happen for us.
And that's what you were saying before about if people are willing to learn, if they're willing to sit down with you and learn. And it's not, no one learns until they recognize have a problem, and no one learns until they recognize they're sitting with Yoda or Gandalf or someone who can solve things.
Yeah.
And so that's why your job here in this podcast, or my job when I'm doing someone's website, is to position someone as Yoda or Gandalf so that others will want to learn from them. Instead of trying to sell to people who don't want to hear from you, position yourself as Gandalf or Yoda.
Yeah, I love that. Nice. Tell us, what's the best way, people watching this podcast, what's the best way for them to reach out and find out more about your amazing services?
Yeah, well, you can see my email address at the bottom of my screen there, michael@athletickoala.com.au.
Yeah.
You can just go to www.athletickoala.com.au and find me, or you can find me on LinkedIn if you search for Athletic Koala. Then people ask, why is it called Athletic Koala? It's because you try SEOing Michael Clark, okay? Every man his dog's called Michael Clark, but there's no one else out there trying to SEO.
How many runs did you make this week?
That's right. That was like 20 years ago, but I used to make a lot if that had actually been me. He had a somewhat complex personal life, so I was happy that my life was a bit easier than his, but I was never as famous as the real Michael Clark. But yeah, that's why it's called Athletic Koala, so that people can find me easily.
Yeah, but you could use that. I do a marketing ploy like this. I'd say, Michael Clark appearing here tonight at the local restaurant, right? And people go, I'm going to book. I'm going to see Michael Clark, and they will.
That's so funny. That's hilarious. Until they turn up, and then what?
Listen, guys. I own the Floating Disco, and true story. This is really weird. I owned the Floating Disco back in the day on Sydney Harbour, and I did that for 10 odd years or more. And then overnight, I kid you not, disco died. It just died. I went from like booking 250 people on a cruise every Friday night and every Saturday night to like 50 or so. And I thought, shit, what's happened? And people said to me, Jeff, disco's dead. I went, wow, I've got to pivot. So what I did, I put out flyers and said, come and dance to the latest music. My Sex, The Angels, and Metless Everything, Metless Anything. And people were so stupid they actually came to the cruise expecting to see those bands. What they got was a DJ playing their songs.
Did they still have a great night?
Absolutely. The cruise was 100 fun-loving boys, 100 fun-loving girls. All the food you can eat and all the wine you can drink. And all the food you could eat, guys, was 2 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken and a bit of coleslaw at the top of the boat. If you wanted more, no problem. Get back in the line. And nobody wanted to get back in the line for 200 people, right? So invariably, I had enough chicken for everybody, and the wine. Oh, mate, it was like petrol. I bought it in bulk from some lovely man in 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐧𝐮𝐭𝐞𝐬, an Italian man, and but it was all the wine you could drink. We had a lot
as long as they had a great night. You know what I mean?
Like value. And mate, I was turning them away every week. I kid you not, down at Circular Quay Wharf, there was over 500 people trying to come on a boat which was taking 250. And by the way, guys, the legal capacity was 200. I used to slip the captain a couple of bucks and say, keep putting them on. I kid you not. Some nights when we went out, the boat had a big lean on it. The things I did when I was a young boy are amazing. But,
So what would be your advice to yourself back then if you were having a chat with him?
Just do it.
Really? My advice would be get a second boat.
I could. I was happy
everywhere.
Yeah, but I was making. You ready? I was making $2,000 net per week, guys. When wages were $100, the average male wage was $100. I was making $2,000 a week. I was a kid making $2,000 a week, and I went on from there. And the rest is history. And it wasn't that hard. All I did was hire a ferry for $400, buy some Kentucky Fried Chicken, buy some wine, put a cruise on, and stand on the street like a donkey handing out. I wouldn't do that. I was handing out flyers down at Wynyard Station and all over the place. I'd be at Wynyard Station one day, I'd be at Marketplace the next day, I'd be at Circular Quay the next day, handing out flyers. And on the bottom of my flyer had next week's cruise. I had this week's, of course, and I had next week's cruise. A great story, guys, that made me millions. A quick one. I had a guy at Circular Quay selling tickets for me. The tickets were $20. I gave him $1, right? So he made $200 a week when wages were $100, right? By selling my tickets for me. People ring and go, "Oh, Michael, you got to go to Circular Quay and pick up your tickets," because there was no internet. It wasn't easy those days. There was no internet banking ideas. So anyway, people picked up their tickets. I rang him up one day and said, "How's the ticket sales going?" He goes, "Oh, mate, I'm sick of you effing people. They keep coming down while I'm having my lunch." And I blew up. In my mind, I went, "Are you kidding me? What did I just hear?" So what I did, I thought, okay, my friend, you won't have any problems next week. I went to the city and I got my first office for $50 a week. I was sitting there in a suit in my office going, now what do? I've got an office, right? And then when the people rang me, I had an office in York Street, the people came to me, that $200 went in my pocket. The rent on the office was only $50. I made $150, but I was sitting there all day bored shitless. So what did I do? I started a matchmaking business, Boy Meets Girl. And that was the most successful business, one of the biggest in the world at the time, a matchmaking business, which I sold for $500,000 about 6 months before the internet. Along came young James Packer and Lachlan Murdoch, and they bought RSVP for $475 million. And my agency was bigger. How about that? I didn't know about that sort of stuff. I think
it's hilarious. And the more we talk about that, or the more we talk about your cruise business, the more I think in 2025 or 2026, how would you do that cruise business? You would jump on LinkedIn. You would give people the best advice about what to do when they go on a cruise, because they don't know. They haven't been before. Tell them what to wear. You do posts about what you'll be eating. You do posts about how to introduce yourself to people. And you watch you blow up. You will go so big. And because what you used to have to do was go and give people pieces of paper in the street, you can now do from home.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And that's not even mentioning the Facebook campaigns you could do or the Google ads or whatever. But it's like, at the bottom line, though, you must be the subject matter expert. So if you're there going, buy my cruise, you're not being an expert. If you're there going, here's how you do a cruise, you're the expert. And that's the difference in 2025, 2026.
Yeah, I think that were the good old days. How the matchmaking came about was I saw these people trying to crack onto each other, the boys and the girls, and I thought, there's $1 to be made here. So I started the matchmaking, and the rest became history. I used to say it was a lid for every pot. And the matchmaking is very interesting, guys. What I did, you might not be old enough, Michael. Do you remember a gym called John Valentine's at all?
I don't, but then I grew up in the bush. We didn't have a lot of gyms. We just went to the farm.
Guys, there was an American company come and hit Australia hard. They opened up about 50 branches in about 3 months for gyms, and they strategically placed them in strategic areas. Like in Sydney, they put a ring around Sydney. They had 6 branches around the suburbs and 1 big one in the city. Pretty cool. So what I did, I said, hey, I got a good idea here. I'm in the city, and I've got so much bloody competition. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get people before they get to the city. So what I did, I went out to all the regional areas around Sydney. I opened up 6 branches. So you had no reason, if you wanted a matchmaker, you had no reason to go to the city now because you had one in your local area. And I killed it.
That's so clever.
I
Because what you did there is you took the inconvenience out of that, so they didn't have to travel.
I crushed the market, my friend. Crushed it. You know, I had a lot of fun with that. 20 years worth. And here's a tip for you guys who are in business or have been in business for, don't stay too long. I had 5 multi-million-dollar businesses, and I kid you now, every effing one of them, I realize now, looking back, I stayed far too long. I knew everything about it. I'd done it all. It was easy peasy. I could do it hand behind my back, but I stayed too long because I chased a dollar. That's what I did. I went hard. I chased the dollar. Now I've got a passion, not a business. I don't chase a dollar, and the dollars come to me. I've reversed the whole thing. When you find your passion, guys, as Michael's done, it's so darn easy. We make it look easy, and believe me, guys, it is easy if you've got the passion and the systems.
It's really true. Like when you think about it, say on LinkedIn, if you go up and put up, hey, choose me, buy from me, you know, everyone's like, whatever. If you go up and go, hey, here is exactly how you do a podcast. Here is the 10 steps you must take. People see that you're knowledgeable. You've just become Yoda or Gandalf. They appreciate it and they contact you. I cannot remember the last time I reached out to someone. Oh, I can. It was 1 week ago. Beyond that, it was been months since I reached out to someone and said, hey, do you need a hand with? Because people pour into my inbox going, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Because I'm not even talking about what they need a hand with. I'm just teaching them stuff. And that's what you're saying. Just get out there, be passionate about stuff. And when you lose the passion, pick something else.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you lose your passion, you shouldn't lose your passion. Well, I guess you can lose your passion. All the business I had, I didn't have a passion, guys. I was just greedy for money. I was greedy for money, honest to God. You know, I was like Hitler. How much more can I make? I wanted to dominate. Every industry I went into, I wanted to dominate. And anyway, before we wrap it up, Michael, tell us a fun fact about yourself. Apart from the fact you're a Michael Clark clone, tell us a fun fact about yourself that people don't know, my friend.
Sure. Okay. So I love to do things differently from most, as you can obviously tell, and as you do yourself, Jeff.
Yep.
So when I first started on LinkedIn in the disability sector, I'm like, how do you stand out? How do you even be noticed? There must be, you know, there's plenty of marketers who are claiming to be good at that. None of them had a decade of experience in marketing, and none of them had run their own disability businesses. I'm like, how do I stand out? So what I did was I did a skit, like a 5-minute skit of me being a school teacher talking to the different disability business owners. So I'd talk to the people who had support workers, and I'd be like, hey, can you get your guys off their phones? Because, you know, people are being ignored. And then I'd talk to the plan managers who are known for ignoring emails. I'm like, hey, have you ever thought of opening your inbox? Here's how you open your inbox. And I guided them through the process of resetting their password. And I did that, and I took the crap out of every type of disability provider there was. And in one video, I went from no one knew who I was to everyone knew who I was, because they people would, like, that spread like wildfire. And then every week after that, for about 12 weeks, I just did a different thing where I was making a joke at the expense of all of us, including myself. And because we were never having a crack at the people with disabilities. We're having a crack at the people running businesses. Because I can tell you straight out, there's some quirky people who run disability businesses. Okay, absolutely. And I'm one of them. Yeah. But the silly thing is, who in their right mind gets up and does that in an industry that's boring, on LinkedIn that's sensible? It's like, but that's how you get the results. And the recent videos I've done have been, yeah, that's right. Like things like, say, my recent videos are me sitting down with William Shakespeare. Thank you, AI. I can sit down with William Shakespeare, and me telling him to stop putting the word thou on his website. Okay. Or me sitting down with other famous, like I've got one coming out next week on Albert Einstein, and I'm going to help him with his LinkedIn, you know, because Albert Einstein came to me. I'm going to help him. I'm going to tell him, like, no, do not bring that personal issue out into the forefront of LinkedIn, because if you know Albert Einstein,
find these, Michael, they're on LinkedIn or what?
They're on LinkedIn. Go find Michael Clark, or you'll find them and you'll enjoy them. But it's like there's always something silly you can do that will bring attention.
Absolutely.
That will educate people at the same time. Yeah. So I'm educating people while being silly.
Yeah. Give value, guys. Give value. You give value. It comes back in spades, right? If you can't help someone, you'll probably know someone who can help them. So once again, before we wrap this up, guys, reach out to Michael. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's done marketing for donkey's years, and like me, still learning. We're learning all the time. AI has changed the game for all of us. Reach out to Michael, have a virtual cup of coffee, and you'll come away wiser and smarter for the experience, I promise you. You've been an awesome guest on the show, Mike. Thanks for being on the show today. It's been awesome, my friend.
I just appreciate the time, Jeff. I love your work, and I've enjoyed hanging out.
Thanks very much. And guys, if you want your 15 minutes of fame, don't forget to come on the show. Every man and woman's got a story. Sometimes it's a rocky story, but we all get there in the end. And remember, when you're having tough times today, you'll thank me in years to come. They'll be the good old days. If you want your 15 minutes of fame, reach out, guys. Love to hear your story. Once again, Mike, thanks very much, my friend.